Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Wednesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. At Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there. Join the militia. A 10-2 run. Ended up bringing the orange within one with 17 seconds left. But Pitt, they'd hold off the Cuse after blowing a 20-point lead. They won 84-82. Syracuse drops to 8-5, 1-1 in the ACC. You'll hear from us, and we'll hear from you in fan feedback. Got some football news. Quite a disappointment. I was disappointed, I was elated, and then I was disappointed. And that's the life of a Syracuse fan in a 2-hour span.
Yep.
Sometimes. Okay, we'll get into the montage. We are going to do the montage. We are going to do fan feedback, and we will save a Boston College preview and a Minnesota preview for probably next Monday, which is right, Joe? That's the plan?
Yeah.
Because Sunday's Christmas. Okay, all right. So that's the plan. So. First, obviously, today is early signing day, and we've got some news there. First, Matthew Bergeron, he's not going to play in the bowl game because he has declared for the draft. So I'm sure that comes as no surprise to most of us, right?
Yeah.
So little surprised it took that long, actually, and kind of slipped my mind, to be honest with you. So we talked about Vincent Carroll Jackson, last week as a verbal commit, and no longer a verbal commit. Joe ended up signing with Nebraska, so there's that, right? Tony White's over there, and a couple others. Oh, Lenore Sellers. So the Lenore Sellers situation, Joe. It was a verbal commit, obviously, and now he's going to wait until when he's decided to make it a big to-do about it, because we've got a possible flip with him too, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really the one thing is that when you look at the recruiting class as a whole,
which is why I mean I don't.
I know.
Okay, never mind that.
But I mean, look, we've had a bunch of transfers,
Yeah.
some JUCO guys signed, stuff like that, graduate guys, and as far as our recruiting class goes, it's really not ranked that high. And when you look at the top two guys that we had, you're talking about Lenore Sellers, and you're talking about Vincent Carroll Jackson. And Vincent Carroll Jackson flipped to Nebraska, which, I mean, it's completely understandable. I get it. But, yeah, there's rumor out there that Lenore Sellers, it might be a chance that he might be getting flipped to South Carolina. South Carolina's been coming on pretty hard, and He signed his letter of intent, but he's not going to announce until Friday. So, obviously, we have that to maybe look forward to, maybe not. And then on top of that, too, most of the people that we thought were going to signed. On top of the fact that we got we picked up a fifth-year graduate transfer punter from Missouri, and we also flipped a offensive lineman from Northern Illinois to our school. So we got a lot of offensive linemen.
Travion Mack, right?
Travion Mack, yeah. So, I mean, we bulked up our depth. We know we got a lot of guys coming back. The corner that left, Deuce, we filled him with Jaden Gould and Jaden Bellamy. They signed. So, I mean, overall, I think that we fixed some of the areas where we thought we might worry, and we've just been beefing up on the interior line on both the offensive and defensive side. So, fingers crossed that we can keep Lenore Sellers, and obviously signing day isn't the true signing day is until February, so there's still some things that need to be done and can be done with our new coordinators and things like that. So going to be interesting, but overall, really not an overly exciting early signing day for us, especially considering that we might lose our top 2 recruits of the class as far as who were verbally committed going into today. So,
yeah, not a great day.
No.
Unfortunately.
No. No. And I did listen to Dino's presser. He had a presser. And
I didn't know that. But anyway.
Yeah, listen to that. I mean, it's 21 minutes long, so, obviously there's some stuff in there, but, there's obviously things that our coach speak. But the one thing that was asked, because I know that we hit on it last episode, is somebody actually asked if Rocky Long was going to be coaching on the sidelines for the game, and Babers came out and said that he's not going to be coaching, and it is going to be Nick Monroe doing the play calling for the bowl game.
All right. Well, that was reported, so that's why I gave credit, because
right.
They were wrong.
But I mean, I heard differently today, so I figured I'd mention it.
No, absolutely, yeah. So, well, I wonder where the hell they get their information from. Okay, everybody wants to be the first one on Twitter to break news. By the way,
yeah.
In case you didn't know, including plebes like
True statement.
like us, So, okay, let's get into the game last night versus Pitt. We are in full-fledged conference play now, and a couple of good opportunities at home. One was squandered away, to say the least, last night, but we'll talk about the good of it and the bad of it after we hear from Coach.
I thought the last group played as hard as they could play and got us back in there, but you can't start the game out. We just had no effort from our forwards from the beginning. I mean, it's hard to watch. I thought Q 6'4", he came in, he got 6 rebounds in 12 minutes. Benny and Chris got 1 rebound between the two of them, each in 12 minutes. You can't win that way. It's hard. It's really hard to watch that as a coach. And they made a great effort to come back, but you just can't play defense. We did this against Cornell, and we did this against Georgetown. And, you just can't keep doing that. You're not going to be able to overcome that. And again, Malik rebounds. He's learning. He's got a lot to learn about everything we're doing. He's a freshman. In reality, our best lineup out there today was 3 freshmen, Joe and Jesse. That was our best lineup. They played the hardest. They're not necessarily the best talent, but they played the hardest. They went after balls, and we're just not doing that with Benny and Chris. They're just not playing hard. I've tried everything I know how to get them to play harder, and they're just not. So it was a good fight, good effort to come back, really good effort against a good team. That Pittsburgh's a good team. It was a really good effort to come back in this game. But you can't put yourself in those positions like that. Questions?
How do you feel about some of the late game execution?
Everything was good until the last play, and they made a good play defensively, came in front, and pass should have gone for the open guy, but we just didn't see it.
Have you ever been this frustrated by lack of effort, a consistent lack of effort before?
Well, we've never had that. This is the first time I've seen it, and it's hard when your 2 starting forwards just don't have the effort. I don't know what their game is or what they think it is, but there's not effort. And if you don't have effort, you can't play this game. Simple.
Coach, what are some positives you can take away from today? What are some positives?
Nothing. We played hard at the end, come back, but that's no good.
What did you think of the crowd tonight?
Fans are great. Our fans are great. They're trying. They did everything they could. Great effort. I don't know what to say. When you don't have effort out of a couple players, you can't win. That's the bottom line.
Told you talking about that lack of effort.
We'll either get somebody in there that gives that effort, or
Do you feel more optimistic about use of your press, or do you
No,
feel
not really. It's just a temporary thing. We're not a good pressing team. You saw what happened. Jesse's going to get in foul trouble back there, and he's out of the game. So, no, we don't want to do that. They helped us. They took some jump shots and did some things that helped us. That won't happen. We're not a pressing team.
Coach.
Can't play half-court defense.
Can't play half-court defense. So there was one common theme amongst every single segment that was put through there, and that was effort, okay? And I don't know if I've heard it mentioned that many times in a presser ever. I don't think it's been close. And we've talked about it plenty. We've been talking about it with a number of teams, and, I mean, this team specifically has a little bit of lack of effort. So another slow start.
I just don't understand it.
I don't get it either. Benny, like Coach said, Benny and Chris combined for 1 rebound. Syracuse was -9 on the boards altogether. I thought.
But I mean, if you're not excited to play, then what?
Then what are you doing? See, the thing is that you see flashes of like. So to me, and to put it, I guess the way I see it, just as a pedestrian fan, it looks lazy. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do, which is shoot the ball. And then y'all are going to go get it.
Yeah.
I mean, right? So, you've got the two of them, and they're both talented guys. I'm not questioning that. That's why they're still starting. The two of them combined for 1 rebound. Malik Brown had 9. And he was in there for 27 minutes, but Malik Brown made a difference again.
Yeah.
And Coach talks about Malik still learning, and to me, though, he seems to be doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if he doesn't understand some things, then...
Like, just keep him out there. Like, I don't understand why we're playing
because
around.
he's obviously doing some other things better. I mean, if it's just effort, then that's really where it comes from, right? I mean, I just don't... It got to a point where he said, I'm going to put in... And we haven't even seen Quadir Copeland play against non-conference teams. And all of a sudden, they throw him in, and to be, to put that in perspective, because, Malik Brown, he played 27 minutes. I think he played the whole second half. But to put it into perspective, Chris Bell, 13 minutes, Benny Williams, 13 minutes, Justin Taylor, 14 minutes, Quadir Copeland, 13 minutes. And Justin Taylor and Benny Williams and Chris Bell combined with 13 minutes and then 14 minutes respectively each had 1 combined rebound. Quadir Copeland came in and in 13 minutes had 5 rebounds.
5. Yeah, Coach said 6, but he had 5.
And 10 points, 2 blocks, a steal, and 4 of those 5 rebounds were offensive rebounds.
Right.
That dude, you saw the excitement. He was excited to be out there. You saw the effort, and he was going after the ball no matter where he was.
He was all over the court.
All over.
He was all over the court. You want to talk about effort, look at Quadir Copeland.
Well, yeah, and even on top of that, he comes in, hits the jumper, right?
He had a couple good shots.
Then gets an offensive rebound off of Malik Brown's second missed free throw, puts it back in. Pretty much negates the fact that Malik Brown just missed 2 free throws.
Hit a 3.
Three-pointer and got fouled, right? Like, I mean, if you're a fan of Syracuse, you're looking at this kid who comes in, hasn't even played against non-conference teams, and you're like, where has this kid been? Who is this guy, right? Like, am I wrong? I mean, where has he been? If he's going to come in and play like that, then what are we doing? Same thing with Malik. It's the same thing. I mean, I get it that you're trying to get an offensive team going, and you want to get these shooters going.
I mean,
but
again,
that's the point. They're still scoring.
Yeah,
they're not even hitting shots.
They hit 53% from the floor, still, and then 2-point range. Sorry. So, but yeah, I mean, that's their game. They did a fantastic job when they were doing that. That's how, there was a couple timely threes
of course,
throughout the game, and there always is. But shooting 25% from the 3, and again, we talked about how Syracuse has not been playing the 3-ball game when they go down, except for yesterday. Last night, they were doing that a lot of it at one point, especially in the first half. And it started,
and then even in the beginning of the second.
Yeah, and it started to smother them. That's how they got down, 18, 20 points at one point in time. Probably not up to 18. It was probably like around the 6. Seemed to be hovering around 16 to 12 for a while. And that was when you felt like they were taking some really bad shots. And I think, once they started doing what they were going to be doing, and like Coach said, the best lineup he was talking about, it's not the most talented. Mintz, Joe, Brown, Copeland, and Edwards
looked like the most talented to me.
Well, when you look at the box score and you were to ask me where the talent was and who should be the starting five, that's where I'm going. So I don't know I don't know how Coach is being so patient. First of all, I don't know what he's looking for out of Malik Brown to determine whether or not he's good to go to get some more minutes or start a game. So I'm not sure what. And he's the coach, so I don't know. And I'm not being a smart ass. I'm being serious. I don't know what the holdup is, because it seems to me that, even when Jesse was out, it wasn't terrible. They were playing good with those guys in there. When he had that late foul trouble, and we had Hima in there.
Yeah, about 7 minutes where he was in there, yeah.
Yeah, and they still played good. They were chopping away at the lead. That's kind of where it started. And then, Jesse comes in, and obviously he's a big help. And I just don't know. I don't know what we have to lose, what anybody would have to lose by just putting those guys in to start the game and see how it goes. See what kind of flow you can get off of the first tip to start the game. What kind of energy can you get? What kind of effort can you get? This falling behind and playing catch-up stuff, you heard Coach talk about the past couple games. We've had to play catch-up. That's not going to work all year. Obviously, it's not. It almost worked, though, and we'll talk about that. But to play from behind like that is just catastrophic. But I will say this, though. For these guys, there was a point in this game where I was like, there's 12 minutes left, and I'm going to have to sit here and watch this?
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? I was like...
But then there was also something to me that said 12 minutes is a long time.
12 minutes is a long time to either come back or totally get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
There was a point where we were down like 18. We got it to like 12 or 10 or something, and then they got it back up to 20, and then we came back and got it down to 1.
Yeah.
And there was no quit. There was no quit. And I'm sorry, but I want the guys that are going to put the effort out there on the court. And even when you look at KenPom and you look at their rankings as far as adjusted offense and defense, as bad as some people have played. And
Claudia Copeland with a 185 in his 12 minutes for offensive rating.
But to look at their offense and to think that's he's kind of got those guys in there waiting for them to something to turn on, something to just trigger them to just go off and get it. Our offensive adjusted offensive rating is still 63rd. But in the meantime, while we've been doing this and we've been having these offensive guys in there trying to figure out their offensive game, our adjusted defense ranking has dropped to 111. So to me, it's clear, and we've talked about it before, that you need to worry about the effort and the guys that are going to help that defense in that ranking versus somebody else. I mean, we just gave up 84 points. I mean, we thought this game was going to be played in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, it's proven that even though what you want to happen isn't happening, and we're still scoring enough to be in these games, you got to concentrate on the defense.
Let's Coach says never had a lack of effort like this, and I mean he's quite possibly right. But what usually happens is he makes a change before now.
Yeah, but there's been so long to where we've only relied on 6, 7, 8 guys max.
I know. He says positives. He was asked if there any positives to take the game away from the game. He says nothing, and that's Coach speak to. It's him being upset. Of course, he liked the effort on the comeback, right? And I think we all were on the edge of our seats at one point. I couldn't believe it.
No, me either.
And
me either.
As we're 1 point down with 17 seconds left, I'm thinking to myself, man, if only we had a couple more free throws, we are in the driver's seat right now.
Or Judah hits the dunk. I mean,
yeah, the dunk was trying to be a little flashy, which is fine. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna.
They ended up getting a long rebound.
It was a 5-point swing.
Yeah,
because it was a 3 at the other end.
Was it?
I'm almost positive it was. No, it wasn't. It was a fast break. It was a fast break.
It was a fast break, so I think they got like an alley-oop or a layup or something.
There was a 5-point swing at one point, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was.
And there was a travel at the end.
there was a travel, and they called the foul. But also, if you want to really get technical about it, if Judemans shoot that, okay, let's do this. The pass to Edwards that was picked off, he had Quadir, that was at the end. The pass to Edwards that was picked off was bad. That was a bad look.
Yeah, he didn't see the guy that was coming over to help.
But he was coming over. Okay, so it gets picked off. What is his name? Hinson is fouled. Yeah. He hits 1 or 2. They go up by 2. The sequence before all
hit
that.
2 or 2.
No.
And then they went up 3. No?
No, he missed the first one.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the sequence right before the last offensive set.
Yep.
And then Judah comes down and he launches up a shot. He had Quadir Copeland cutting into the lane.
Wide open. Yeah.
Wide open. And he would have probably at least drawn a foul. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we don't know, right? Ifs and buts are candy.
Or Quadir could have went and drove.
Yeah, but
you didn't have to pull up with that. You still had enough time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he had enough time for it, but at the same time, he still wasn't allowed to land. And if that play I think happens halfway into the game, I think it's called a foul. I mean, the defensive player was in his bubble, and I don't think the refs are going to decide the game on a whistle like that, or at least going into overtime, right? Well, that was a 3, so he'd have got 3 foul shots.
Yep.
His time expired. So, it's unfortunate that it happened like that, and like you said, the travel that ended up being called a foul. I mean, you can't fall with the ball. Last time I checked, Yeah. So, just a lot of questionable things at the end of a game, in a game where you're 20 down and you come within 2, and you have a chance to tie it or win it at the very end, and just all those last 3 sequences is just like. God,
but even there's a lot of sequences too. Where
I know, but I'm pointing to that one because that was that was it. That was going to be the make or break, and it ended up being a break. And I hate to point to one thing because, like I said, you could just point to the foul shots. If you want to point to one thing, you can point to some of the foul shots. If they shoot 80% like they've been, they hit 20 foul shots instead of what they end up at.
Well, I don't count Malik Brown's
16.
Too.
So if they hit 80%, they're hitting 20. So there's 4 more points. I mean, I'm just for the sake of argument.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I don't count Malik Brown's 2 misses because we got an offensive rebound and put 2 right back in. So
okay, that's fine. All right, that's fair. So you hit 80%, you tie.
You can at least negate 1. You could have hit the first one, missed the second, and it would have been a 3-point play. But yeah, dude, there's a lot.
Well, that's getting down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I know. Even the first half, though, I mean, they were playing so much more aggressive than us, and there was, I thought, some calls that just weren't. We should have had a lot more.
There was an over the back.
In my opinion,
there was an over the back.
No, yeah, there was definitely an over and a back.
On Jesse, they made up for it because I think someone shot a 3. Who was it? Was it Joe shot a 3 and got fouled?
Yep. They called that.
So it ended up.
But there was still.
Yeah,
but the problem was that at some point they had like 6 or 7 fouls calling them that we didn't have any. That's how unaggressive we were playing, and and then
that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
And then the problem is that when it gets to that, like, this team is playing super more aggressive than you, and you should be calling fouls, but you're looking at the foul discrepancy as a ref, and you're like, oh, it's 6-0. Like, I don't want to make it look like it's one-sided. Like, that type of stuff happens. And I thought that there were some plays and some fouls that weren't called in that first half that could have kept it closer. But nonetheless, I mean, we put ourselves in a position to win that game, and we squandered two possessions in a row.
Yeah. And you know what? We also put ourselves in a position to lose the game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't.
I mean, it didn't even have to be that close. No. I mean, the whole fact of the matter. I mean, it was. I was proud of that team and the way that they came back.
I was too.
Especially with Malik Brown. I mean, there's going to be those fans that say, they lost. Who cares? But to see the likes of Malik Brown and Quadir Copeland, who played minimally even in the non-conference against good opponents, to come in and them to play the minutes that they had and to see what they did, I mean, it made me proud, and I hope that he uses this momentum, and I hope that those guys are starting. I hope that final team is a starting lineup against Boston College. And the only way to motivate these guys, he said he's tried everything. Well,
try putting him on the bench. Yeah.
You've started him.
Right.
You continue to start him.
Right.
So
yeah.
And that's my next option. That's he hasn't tried everything if he's still starting them with no results.
Yeah, it's painful. It's tough to watch, and I feel like the people who are out there giving it their all should be the ones out there proving themselves. And
oh, absolutely.
That is not to say, like I said, and it's not a knock, well, it is a knock. It is. So I'm not going to say it's not a knock, but it's an observation too. Is that it just seems lazy. I mean, let's see. Just for instance,
the thing
here, here's the thing. Chris Bell was, we've seen Chris Bell hit. Okay, he was 0 for 5 from 3. I mean, why is he taking? I mean, at some point you got to be like, okay, this isn't going to work.
Well, that's why I took him out.
Yeah. So I mean, just things like that.
You just got to recognize it earlier, really.
Yes.
And that's the thing is that there's going to be different teams that have different types of. I mean, obviously Pittsburgh, they had full of.
And by the
transfers.
way, my gosh, yeah, we talked about that.
Nelly Cummings.
Nelly Cummings, he's a pain in the ass. They shot 40% from
that whole
3.
thing was a pain in the ass, dude. Did you see that the whole Colgate team traveled to watch it too?
Yeah, that's so douchey.
God,
Like,
dude,
geez,
that was. Dude,
crow.
he hit 6 threes last year against us when they beat us.
Yeah, I know. It's so.
And then we
painful.
have the Buffalo Bills on the sideline.
Yeah, we
which I
had
don't think
J.A.
that
there and Stephon Diggs.
all of them. Gabe Davis.
Yeah, Gabe Davis was there too.
Dawson Knox, and I think Isaiah McKenzie.
Okay.
But or maybe it was a running back. But yeah,
Those are my guys right there, Joe. Those are my guys.
Stop it. Your guys just won a game last Sunday.
And Saturday.
Chandler Jones, baby.
Yeah, that was a proud moment.
It was
Did you see
great.
the meme I sent you?
Yes, you did.
You didn't respond. You never respond to my memes, bro.
Sorry. Busy guy.
That's jeez,
Busy
I'm
guy.
crow. By the way, the last comment, besides Jesse getting in foul trouble, I thought the press was disrupting. Am I missing something? I mean, I understand. I didn't think it was terrible. I've seen a whole lot worse recently.
No, it wasn't bad, especially considering the personnel. And that's the thing. And that's what I was going to allude to is that you have different teams that play different schemes, different matchups. So, I mean, we had guys. We've seen Justin
thought they
Taylor
were
come
good,
in
dude.
and almost win a game, right? We've seen Chris Bell. We've seen these guys do things, but they just don't do it consistently. And it's against certain matchups and against certain teams and the way they play. Pittsburgh played aggressive, and they're an experienced team that knows how to play. And some guys just didn't react to it as well as you like. And then there's other guys like Whittier Copeland. I mean, again, those guys, Malik Brown, I talked about him just doing the little things and the effort. And Whittier Copeland, this guy has not gotten playing time, but who's the guy you see on the bench cheering everybody on, getting everybody up? Him and John Bull right next to each other. Peter Carey, all those guys. Regardless of the lack of playing time that he's gotten, he's kept his mindset and everything good. And, he had a chance to go in down a lot of points and make a difference, and he did. And that's not the last we've seen of Whittier Copeland.
Oh, absolutely not. It was one of those things where, if they pull the game off, I know Justin Taylor did not, but if they pull the game off, it was similar to that effort because without the points, because what did he score, like 25? He went off. We still lost, right? But we came
St. John's, I believe.
We can't. I thought it was Bryant because Mintz was out. Right?
Yep. Sorry, Bryant. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the game that Mintz. Yep.
Yep. And so you see a number of young guys stepping up on this wildly young team. You see all of these new faces, all these new names doing these big things, because Joe's getting smothered. And, Jesse's not always going to be on the court. He's been way better this year, but his conference play, baby, and it's going to get tough for him to stay on the court without being in foul trouble. And so you've got these young guys that can step up, that can do this, and they
have to.
They have no choice. And the thing about it is, for me, is that it's hard for me to call it right now because I see what could be, but at the same time, the results that I feel like we should be getting and we're not. I feel like they should have handled that game way better. And, you can put some of that on coach, I think. to, like Joe said, to recognize it a little bit earlier. But, they must be doing something in practice or something that shows him, at some point or at any second now, one of these guys can go off. I mean, that's what he did with Cole Swider last year. We talked about that. He eventually got cooking and never stopped. Right?
I mean, when the switch is flipped and you have the confidence, then it can happen just like that. Snap of a finger. But
what was it? Joe didn't have any points until he hit those 3 free throws, by the way.
At the end of the first half, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So he ended up with 16. And, like the broadcast.
He had a great second half.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to see it go in. Like that's the old saying, right? I mean, the broadcasters mention it, So it's a confidence thing, You see him go in, you're like, okay, I got this. It just builds you up. If you shoot scared or you shoot nervous or whatever or unsure, and it's gonna show. So, anyways, all right, that's that. I hate Pitt. Mm-hmm. I hate Pitt. Okay, yeah. And we play them again, right? Don't we play them again?
Oh yeah, twice every year, bud.
Yeah,
they're our rival.
So hold on a second, though. We don't. I thought we did too, Joe, but we don't. We don't play them twice this year.
No way.
And I had it highlighted as a 2-timer too. I think I probably automatically did that. No, we don't play them twice.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yes, we do. I'm sorry. We do. And I have it highlighted. My bad. Well, one says Pittsburgh and one says University of Pittsburgh at Cuse.com. So, anyways, okay.
It's because you're on Cuse.com, see?
Maybe.
ESPN,
okay.
Mate.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, this is my early schedule I print out. Okay. It's time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, we're back. It's time to hear from you. At the end of every game, I ask for your thoughts on that game.
Who, me?
If you want to leave them there, Joe, you can leave them there. Anybody can leave them there. I can't stop you. All right. I haven't been proofreading these too much. I've just been checking.
We all know that.
I've just been checking to see if they're there, and they were there. So let's talk about them. I will say this before I forget, because it just entered my head. No, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and everything. Got Christmas coming up, and we're not going to be back before then. We miss holidays all the time because we just get focused and forget. So, 'tis the season, and it's going to be cold as cojones out here in the south this week. Possibility of snow, maybe. I don't know. Rumored. So we'll see. Be pretty cool. Hasn't been a white Christmas here in Virginia Beach since, gosh, I don't even know. There has been one, but it's been a long time. So, anyway, with that said, Merry Christmas.
Sames.
All right, let's start with Twitter because Twitter's better than Facebook. It's my rule. I might not even I just might not even go. I just might not even go to Facebook anymore. So, I'm kidding. Kind of. At Drew Cuse. If they played 40 minutes instead of 10, they probably win that one. Team hasn't come out ready to play once this season that I can remember. They're young and learning. Benny is in the doghouse again. Benny is in the doghouse. Chris Bell is in the doghouse. Yeah, it's not great. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. I'm screwing this all up. Okay. It's not great. And yeah, they didn't play a full 40, I can tell you. And it's the same thing we've been talking about as far as the effort. Coach said effort like probably 50 times in that press conference.
Yeah. But the one thing that I didn't agree with, like we said, was that he said that he's tried everything, and I disagree.
The one thing, right? I disagree too.
You still starting Chris. The people that you're talking about that's not playing defense or rebounding, or they're not quite getting it or coming out and playing with effort, are still in your starting lineup.
Right.
So to me, like I said, that lineup last night, they got us back in that game. they were in there to play. They were in there to win. They came back, and that, to me, should be the starting five come Boston College.
Well, we got, 10 days? I don't know how much practice is going to happen in between then. So it's a tough, that's a hard call, don't you think? Like, I mean, how much practice? I know that they're probably going to come back early to practice, obviously, to get ready for Boston College, but how much practice and what does that look like come next week after the holiday break? And by the way, real quick, we heard Coach mention the fans in the montage, and they were loud when they wanted to be, by the way. And there weren't many of them there.
No.
When the kids are gone, we rely on the locals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, that's a tough ask. Or Tuesday, that's a tough ask.
Absolutely.
So they did, when they were wanting to be loud, though, they'd be loud. They showed Josh Allen how loud they could be. That is faux show. My guy, J.A.
God, stop it.
Nadal.
That was Derek Carr. DC.
I love some DC, too. Nadal, you're on. Unmute yourself, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing?
What's up, Nadal?
Not too much. I would have came yesterday, but that game was super late.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said to Joe, I might have said earlier in the show, 12 minutes left. I'm tired. We're down by 20. I'm like, I cannot believe I have to watch this for another 12 minutes because I do a stupid podcast, and I'm afraid, I'm afraid to miss anything. So the condensed version just doesn't do it, and so
for sure.
I forced myself to stay awake for that, and I'm glad I did, despite the loss. What'd you think?
My wife went to go make me some Turkish coffee, which takes a little bit of watching. And she missed the entire comeback in that 2 minutes.
Holy cow, that's brewing a pot right there, because that took 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to watch. You have to kind of watch it so it doesn't boil over. It's delicious, by the way.
What all right, you got to tell me, because me and Joe are both coffee guys.
She can explain to you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing, Mrs. Nadal?
Hi. So it's so funny because I'm only a Syracuse basketball fan because of Nadal. So, and I got really into it after like the past 3 years, which is really interesting. But
that's
I was
awesome.
really mad about missing it.
You were the first. You were the first woman to ever be on the show, by the way. Congratulations.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think so.
God, I'm so honored. Now I feel like I'm officially an orange.
There you go. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We're gonna send Nadal some swag if I haven't already.
Yo,
That's what we should do.
Every time we go to a game, we stop at that one store. I love that store. I talked
Which
to
one?
that guy, his whole family.
Manny's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to your daughter who's in journalism school. I remember our conversations.
Oh, the guy from Manny's.
He's so nice.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
They're awesome there. They gave me a free shirt the last time I was there.
Yeah.
I did spend $250 though. I mean, so
Dang.
there's that. Explain to me the coffee.
Yeah,
you got me on the edge of my seat here.
If you're if you're a coffee person, then definitely Turkish coffee. So the usual serving is basically, if you've ever looked at, I don't know, this might be random, but a Turkish TV show.
Yeah, it's pretty random.
Very common for us Arabs, but the Turkish shows, and they have these little tiny cups. They're like maybe like 2-3 inches high, and they're like little circles. And so it's very small serving, super strong. It's black and it's kind of grainy. So you have to get the Turkish coffee, like, what's it called? The little pot. It's a pot.
Oh, like a special, like an express, like how Italians do espresso, kind of. Because they have a special pot too.
Not like a press, not the press, not like the French press, but like literally like a flask from chemistry class, flask with a handle.
I got you.
Yeah, but it's made out of like metal. And then so you boil some water. Once it starts boiling, take it off of the fire. Don't let it overflow. Add this coffee, and the coffee is like a powder. It's not grains. It's a powder. And I actually got a version like made specially, and I like went to the different marketplaces and got the cardamom, got the coffee beans, blah blah blah. It's all mixed, so it's a powder. You put some of that in there. You put a ton of sugar. You stir it really well. Put it back on the fire, and something about Turkish coffee, it like boils. It boils in a certain way from the outside in. And once it gets to the center, it boils over. So you got to take it off real quick and then you pour it. And then when you're done drinking it, you can kind of read your psychic, like the tea leaves thing. Well, there's a Turkish coffee version of it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In the cup, yeah.
So what? You said it's strong. So what time of night were y'all drinking this? I'm just curious.
Well, all right. I feel like I was like drinking this out of the womb. So I literally, with me and Nadal, we can drink this at any time and like fall asleep in the next minute.
Oh, okay.
But I will tell you, from our engagement party, we had a bunch of our colleagues and friends, and a lot of them are white or Arab.
And they were up all night. You kept them up all night.
Yo, the one guy ran 5 miles. The one guy went for a 5-mile run. I was like, okay.
Did he have clothes on?
Drinking. Yeah, I don't know.
Good.
I wasn't there for the run.
Okay.
But he told me the next morning. So that stuff is intense. It's really intense. And then they were drinking it out of the teacups, which are bigger. They didn't know, Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my buddy's Italian, and his family does espresso, after meals and stuff.
Oh my God,
And
Lavazza is my favorite brand from Italy.
I wasn't ready, and I thought I was about to have a heart attack. So
that's what we live for, is those coffee palpitations.
Oh geez. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Then I'll be okay. If I know that's what's supposed to happen, then I think I'll be good. Okay.
I want to make you guys some next time. I'll bring you some somehow.
Okay. Okay.
We'll get it there.
All right.
All right.
We should all meet up at a tailgate. You bring the little thingy, and we'll make some.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a portable stove thing for it.
Jeez.
He brings it to
That's hardcore. So it's like a hobby.
It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Can you imagine? I was so mad because I like watching Syracuse now as like a newcomer, right? Like, so I don't have the clouding of like previous eras, winning eras and stuff. Like, I'm seeing these guys, it's pretty cool. And I'm like, I knew that they would come back. First of all, college basketball is so unpredictable at baseline. But something about Syracuse, last year, they were a first half team. Second half, they could be up first half like 20 points. I'm like, Nadal, don't get excited. You know how they go the second half. But this year, oh my God, I knew it. I knew they were going to flip it. I heard the screaming.
Oh boy. So you heard the excitement, but you had to watch the Turkish coffee.
I was so annoyed. Nadal would have paused it for himself.
Oh, damn, Nadal.
I'm really a fan, man. It's such a great atmosphere. It's so much fun.
That's
I went
awesome.
to Drexel, so I didn't experience college sports.
So are y'all in Syracuse?
No, so we live, well, actually, surprise, surprise, we're moving to Houston.
Oh, okay.
Nadal just got a job there.
That's awesome. Congrats,
buddy.
Yes.
So where are you at now?
Really, so we're in like Corning, New York.
Oh, gotcha.
Corning?
Yeah.
Corning
Okay.
Glassworks.
Yeah. Okay. That's off of 80.
We're doctors. Nadal was like, you should make it clear we're doctors. That's why we move around a lot.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's
Nadal
awesome.
went to Syracuse for undergrad.
Ah.
So, he still reminisces. Yeah.
Okay.
All makes sense now.
I've learned more about Nadal in the past 5 minutes through you than I ever knew.
Everyone says that. I'm like, if I was you, I would brag so much. Like, it's so complex. I'm like, yo, that's why God knew I couldn't be you. Everyone would know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, and thanks for being a fan. What's your name?
Halima.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a pleasure meeting you. And you can
too.
Yes, you take care. We love Nadal. Nadal's always got intelligent things to say.
Talk about the game?
Wait, I know his remarks are always so intelligent, right?
Yes, he's always got good things to say. Absolutely. That's how we got to know Nadal. He became a regular for fan feedback.
Earlier, we're like, oh, I don't go on Facebook. I was like, Nadal, what are you gonna do? Isn't that the way?
Well, it's kind of a joke, but he could always join Twitter if he wanted to.
I know, I told him.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Talk to you later.
Am I coming back on now?
Yeah, you can come back on. Do you want to talk?
Follow that up. So much love there.
I have no idea, dude. Good luck. Go ahead.
So what I did like about the game, if we're going to talk about that, is that he's actually going with, Brown instead of Benny Williams and Bell.
Well, you think so? You think come Boston College we're going to see, first of all, and I think it's a long shot we see Copeland. Now watch him show up. Start for Boston College, but I don't think it should be a long shot at all to see Malik Brown out there. I just think he's proven himself. I really do. I think he's proven himself to the point where, he should be out there.
He makes it just look easy. He makes it look easy. He does the simple things really well. He rebounds. He always scores under the basket. It's all effortless for him. Whereas the natural ability of Benny Williams should come out and has not come out yet.
Well, I think I think like we were talking earlier, like I said, it just seems like he wants to do what he wants to do and he just wants everybody else to do the tough stuff.
Yeah.
It seems lazy. That's the way it comes. I don't think that's his intent, but that's how it comes off.
Well, and two, anybody that watches basketball that knows, you can see guys that are contributing. You can see, Malik Brown, there's a lot of things that he does that doesn't even show up in the box score. Little tip passes here, defensive, you can see who's actually contributing to the game. And then there's sometimes, like I said, minus a couple of games with Chris Bell, he just kind of disappears if he's not making shots. And there's players that just disappear. Or like with Benny, because there's a microscope on him because everyone is expecting so much from him that if he doesn't do well, then that's what you see. And, with Malik Brown, especially in Copeland last night, you could see that they were making an impact on that game.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it hit the box score or not.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it did for him. But his energy was just noticeable, the way he was diving after everything and yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
It's the same energy that he has on the bench.
Yeah. And by the way, the effort for that putback, if it went in, it wouldn't have counted. But to at least get down there and give it a go, and throw your body. He threw himself on the floor afterwards, by the way. So he didn't. The reckless abandon is definitely admired by fans. Right? Judah Mintz, count the next time you see him play, the next game, count how many times he's getting picked up off the floor.
That makes me nervous, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Well, did you see him? He was holding his off shooting hand last night a little bit for a little while.
I know. I
after one of his falls.
Yeah.
And he's got to fall at least 10, 12 times a game.
Yeah. So, anyways, we will see, but I'm not overly optimistic about it. And it's mostly because of the break. I just don't know what it looks like after the break. So
he said they do have 6 days of practice in that press conference, by the way.
Okay. I know that he said they were coming back early.
Yeah. So 6 days of practice. That's a lot.
That's not bad. That is. No, it's good. It's good. So
they got to figure it out, man. They got the pieces. They got the players. We've seen, guys have good games. It's basically inconsistency, but he's got to be better at making the right moves and getting people out of there when they're just not in the game, not putting in effort. We talked about it earlier. You got to go back towards the defense, to me personally, because if these guys aren't scoring, these guys aren't shooting. Chris Bell 0 of 5 in the 3-point line. You got to go with the guys that are going to get the rebounds and going to help with defense and throw the effort out there, man. My
line is 0 for 3. That's my line. That's when, okay, that's enough.
Especially for a freshman.
Yeah. So, all right, Nadal, we appreciate you, buddy. That was probably one of the more entertaining calls, unless Tony gets on here and starts talking about genitalia or something like that.
Oh boy, no, we don't need to go that route. Tony.
Not from us. We would both have really good stories about that, but we're not going to go there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Hey, but we appreciate you, buddy. Really do, man.
We appreciate you guys too. Thanks
Thank you.
a lot.
Take care. All right, buddy. That was great. I don't know what else to say about that. I'm going to try Turkish coffee, though. And I'm in the green room. It says, Anthony Googled it. 25 milligrams of caffeine per ounce. So basically a pre-gym, basically a gym pre-workout drink. Yeah, I would try it. Like I said, the real espresso from the Italians is the strongest stuff I ever had. And that stuff was brutal.
I mean, I'm just saying,
but
everything's in moderation, right? That story scared me, though.
Well, if you're waiting for the palpitations, if that's like what you like, that's your point of drinking it. Like, hell yeah, let's get the palpitations going. Then maybe, I mean, if I could,
I was
could
just
dig
more
that.
worried about the 5-mile run thing.
I'm not running with my heart's beating that fast already. I can tell you that much right now.
No, but that's what it makes you want to do. So
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Us white guys are great at moderation. So, it's just one of those things.
How about that?
It's, it makes sense they probably were drinking them for full coffee cups. I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, because
I would have been the idiot out there running 5 miles.
Don't know any difference. Yeah.
No.
All right, let's continue. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay. At Saltine Warrior 4, I feel like I'm watching replays of former games. It's the same crap. It's the same crap, man. No fundamentals, no effort until they absolutely need to. No boxing out. Free throw and foul differential, thanks to soft refs, ends up being the difference. I mean, yeah, you could point to a lot of things, and that's the problem. Frustration right. Because we know the talent is there. And, I agree, but the problem is if you can point to several different things, which one was the one that did it? If
you point to just Pittsburgh having a really good shooting night. Because albeit the fact that they did have some open ones, they made some tough ones as well.
And they had some some stop and pops too. And they were on fire. And they were on fire early. And it didn't last long. At one point they were shooting at a higher clip than 40%. But 40%
way higher.
40% is brutal when you're shooting 32 of them, So Syracuse is a second half team, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it looks like this year.
Yeah.
Unless they change something up early.
They ought to be a first and second half team and get some people out on the floor with some damn energy to start the game and stop screwing around. All right, let's see. Where shall we go, Joe?
I don't know.
All right,
You're reading it.
Let's see. I know. I look for some meat though. Let's start. And my mouse is still jacked up too, by the way. So let's go. Oh, I got to do this one. Because this is the age-old question now. It's becoming the age-old question. Okay. At Oil Cuse, are we good again? Because we looked like shit, then looked awesome.
It's like putting together a game, right?
Yeah.
Putting together a full game, it just seems to be tough for us.
Yeah, tough to say the least. And also, I don't think we're bad.
No.
But are we good again? I don't know. I still don't know. After Pitt, I said I'd give you my answer after Pitt. And I got to say, if I had to give an answer right now, I'd say no. I'd say they've got a lot of work to do still. And
yeah, but I mean, it's still so early in the season where you don't know.
You say that, but we're approaching halfway.
I mean, I'm saying that compared to what I'm talking about is the opponent.
Yeah, well, okay.
What I'm talking about is the fact that you don't know how good Pittsburgh is, right? Sucks to get a home loss, and honestly, like I said, it's just I hate the fact that we play these games at home when the fans aren't there. Are the fans going to be back for BC? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. The students won't be back because it's after New Year's, right? When they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to rely on the locals, and
right.
The locals have been loud, but
it's just an overall tough draw.
It's a tough draw, yeah. But I mean, what else are you gonna do? You know, I mean,
Schedule it for 7.
You got to schedule something ACC at this time of the year. Is my point. That's what I'm saying. What are you gonna? Who do you schedule ACC wise? I mean, is there a good option? Georgia
away games.
Yeah, away games. Okay, fair enough. All right, touche.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you'd have more local fans if it was 7.
Absolutely, the time is a big thing. Yeah.
Right, and then you could always try to hope for some away games there.
Exactly, I would agree.
Which I'm sure, by the time that we play Virginia, the students will be back for Virginia to have a full crowd.
Of course they will.
Yep.
And they'll be raucous as hell too, because they're were they still in the top 5, top 3?
I don't know, but I do know that this game really just made the Boston College game a must-win. Really, when you look at it, when you saw the momentum that we had, you know, when you see Virginia and send that gauntlet with Virginia Tech, it's looking really good. When you look at our schedule, yeah, we're 8-5. We go 8-6 against Boston College. I mean, you're looking at a situation where. Well, what? At Louisville. So we got Louisville, right? So that's the other one. We need to get the next 2. We need to get the next 2 because the next 4 are not easy.
David says we are good again right there. So, just saying.
We're not bad.
We're not bad, but I don't think we're good again.
What constitutes as good?
Right.
As Boston College is beating Virginia Tech right now.
Great. Whatever. Didn't Notre Dame beat? They beat somebody before we played them. Someone big. Michigan State.
Yeah.
Right. Michigan State was ranked 20th at the time, and
every team
blew them
matches
out.
up different.
Yeah, they blew them out. They absolutely did too. So, and that's what we got to hope for is a matchup difference. Okay, because Syracuse has the length. And when they have the right guys in there, that zone is active. They are creating turnovers. So Judah 5 steals last night, you know, and you know they're trying too a whole lot more than that. Obviously, you're not getting them all, but I'm just saying that when they're active with the length of it, it looks good. So matchup issues, that's what I'm looking forward to. And you know,
when are we gonna play a team that can't hit threes?
Well, it's all anybody does now. It's the game. So,
wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Let's go to the Book of Faces here, and our buddy Zach. I'm gonna hit the right button. Our buddy Zach on Facebook. Judah is by far our best athletically gifted player, but he shows his true freshman form in these absolutely crucial moments at crunch time. I would have much rather seen Gerard run it down and take that shot. I was ready to go to bed. Now adrenaline is through the roof. This was last night. Maybe he had Turkish coffee. Maybe he was just high on orange. Either way, great rally back, but man, it hurts even worse now. Yeah, look, at the end of that game, I was wound up. I was freaking tired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? You're like,
I didn't get to bed till 12:15.
I was 12:30.
Yeah.
I was 12:30 was the last time I looked at the clock. Was 12:30, and I got up at 5.
It could have been 12:30 easy for me too. I don't know.
It sucks. So, yeah, but I totally get it. You know, I think it's easy to say that now, but if he sees Copeland cutting through, then it's no question.
Or if he just takes it himself, right?
He goes through. Yeah, tries to draw the foul himself.
Yeah, I mean that was the one.
He was going for the win. He was going for the. Yeah,
he was, but it was obvious that team wasn't going to let us, you know, do our offense through Jesse. You know, obviously why he didn't get the double-double, that because he fouled out. But we knew that they showed they weren't going to allow that to happen. So we come back playing the way that we played, just to down one with 17 seconds, call play to get it down to Jesse, and then you know we just hug up a 3 like. We should have been taking it to the rack both times.
Yeah, because
that's what we were doing.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. That's been our bread and butter.
That's
all
our team.
Year. That's what's worked.
Our team. Until something else changes or other players become consistent, then we got to play an effort, ugly, kind of dirty game. You know, you run your offense through Joe and Judah.
Grimy,
and
a lot of whistles. Just you know, you had You've been getting people in foul trouble just about every game. You had one foul out. You had Hinson with 4. You had Cummings with 4. You know, you're right there on the verge of taking out 3 big-time starters. Federico was out with 5. And, you know, you're right there on the verge. You got to take it with the blood's in the water at that point. You just got to go after him. That's it.
Yep. And there's just too many times that we just didn't rely, but we more or less just settled for 3s. And that's just not our game right now, obviously.
Yeah. And
if it's not Joe Girard
and Judah started the game by doing that. He was one of the ones I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was 0 for at least 3 at one point. He ended up 2 for 6, but he was 0 for 3.
If you're running plays for a guy that's not making shots, it's a freshman that's not rebounding and playing defense.
Yeah. All right, let's do maybe a couple more here. Top fan Michael. That's Facebook Michael. What happened to all the man-to-man we were supposed to see this year? These wide-open threes have to stop. It's been a decade since this was recognized out as our kryptonite. Brown and Taylor need more minutes. Where was Bull tonight? Admired the comeback at the end, though. Well, the man-to-man thing, I didn't expect it to stick, but I expected it to last longer than it did. And we talked a lot last year. Well, why don't they do man? Well, they're not athletic enough. Well, I feel like they are athletic now, but I don't know, Joe. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I don't mind the press.
I don't mind the press
with the team that they had out there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you switch out Samir and Joe for a little while. We'll go back and forth, get a little athleticism out there. But I mean, don't get it twisted. That press and speeding them up, whether they scored or not, they went faster than what they wanted to, and it left more time on the clock. And they did have 16 turnovers to our 9. So, yeah, we were out-rebounded. But,
by 9.
Forcing them to speed up definitely, without a doubt, caused more turnovers and definitely was part of the reason why we got back in the game. No doubt about it.
And it's to Coach's point, to be fair, that's what caused foul trouble for Jesse. He's left down there all by himself.
Well, you know what? You got to put in Hema. Change it up.
Yeah, put in Hema for the press. Let him give the fouls.
I mean, you got so many guys. You think these guys can do this, but they haven't shown it. And then you have these other guys where you say, oh, they're not there yet. But when they go in the game, they play better than the other guys you think you're supposed to be starting. So obviously you got a whole group of people that can play. So just do something. Just make changes. Make bold changes all the way around. You want to motivate somebody, don't talk about them in a press conference and then start them the next game. Don't start them. Put in the guys that are doing what you want them to do.
Yeah. And, Jesse's in there. He says the lineup at the end was Mintz, Joe, Brown, Copeland, and Edwards. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. You want to win, something's going to have to change. It's time. What better time than now? I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, you have guys that obviously they're excited to be in the game. They want to be in the game. They're showing you that they want to be in the game.
Well, they're trying to prove themselves, and they are out there trying to take that spot, and they know it's probably right there at their fingertips. So, yeah, there's a lot of motivation there, too.
Yeah, but Quadir hasn't even barely played. Like I said, barely played, but he's been the consummate teammate. You look at the bench, and it's him, John Bull, those guys all the time, cheering up, positive. They're not on the bench all pissed off because they're not playing. And now this dude comes in, barely played against the non-conference, down 20, and he does this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you have to do something. I mean, the energy, just everything that he brought to that whole game. I mean, 13 minutes, you have 4 offensive rebounds, 10 points.
Yeah.
Why is this guy on the bench?
Well, I agree. You didn't tell me nothing. You asking me?
And he's 6'4", and he's rebounding better than Benny.
Yeah. No, he did a good job.
He did a great job.
Yeah. All right, I think that's going to do it for us. So the plan is to be back here, by the way, on when, Joe? Monday. Why do I keep
Monday
forgetting?
Or Tuesday?
Monday. Let's do Monday. And
No, I mean, whatever's better for us, you know.
all right. Okay. Okay. Oh boy, Joe might have something going on Monday. That means he's got plans. Oh yes.
That means I
yeah.
don't know. Realistically, it's what that's what it is. So.
Oh,
and look, we know what we're going to have more stuff with signing day. Obviously, we know Lenore Sellers is either going to choose Syracuse or South Carolina on Friday. And what were you doing? The bowl preview? Bowl preview?
Minnesota preview. Boston College preview.
Boston College preview. Bowl game preview.
Well,
that's going to be Monday.
Let's hear what Tony has to say real quick before we sign off. Tony, unmute yourself or forever hold yourself.
Hey boys, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Did Hanukkah start today?
Started, I think, yesterday, the day before.
Okay. Fair enough. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, I just want to chime in quick about, like, getting fans of the Dome and the attendance. And I know I've mentioned in the past, like, the key is, like, get kids into that place. And I don't know if you guys saw or heard about the women's game yesterday. They played it at 10:30 in the morning. It was, like, school day, and they bussed kids to the Dome. There were 7,300 kids there, and it was like the loudest I've heard the Dome for any game in a while. Like,
wow.
The place was electric. Like, there's videos of it on Twitter. Like, it was nuts.
Huh.
Like, now, I'm not saying to have the men play at 10:30 in the morning, but, like, take advantage of that, man. Make the tickets cheaper for kids. Bus them in. Like, what are we doing? Because the crowd is
just make them cheaper for the holidays.
That too.
This has always been a problem.
Don't play at 9 o'clock. Don't play at 9 o'clock.
Every single time the students are gone, our attendance sucks.
Don't.
The 9 o'clock thing, unfortunately, we're just a slave to TV rights now. Like, ESPN or ACC Network, like, all right, we need to fill this slot. We're putting this game in. Like, I agree. It's asinine for an East Coast team to tip off at 9 o'clock at night on a weekday, but unfortunately, I don't think we have much control over that.
Yeah, well,
No,
I mean,
we
it's
don't.
stupid. They probably have some kind of control over it. They had to have something.
They might be able to, like, okay, like, these are the 3 games we suggest you putting in, and Pitt got slotted that way. I think they've been a 9 o'clock game a couple times now the last few years, I think.
Yeah, this is the first one this year, but yeah, they have been. We've gotten a couple nasty ones.
It's just a total pain. I didn't even get to watch the game. I had to do a 4 a.m. Buffalo run. Like, I had to just catch up on Twitter.
Let's go, Buffalo.
Stop
Buffalo.
it right now.
Buffalo Militia Podcast coming to you, Tony.
Oh,
The guy at
God.
one of the places I stopped at gave me a "Let's go Buffalo," and I just said okay, and like he just walked away downtrodden. I was like, "Oh man, I messed up. That's my bad."
Dude, you have to remind them that there's a curse, and it's just not going to happen. They'll be okay.
It's happening.
Dude, I think they'll take it, man. I want to see it. I want the anarchy.
It's not going to happen.
I'll drive out there for the celebration. You guys.
If it does happen, Joe and I are doing a Buffalo Bills post game Super Bowl win show.
No, I'm not.
Yes, we are, Joe.
No, I'm not.
Commit.
I'll commit to we'll commit to a post game Super Bowl, regardless of who's in it.
No,
Why?
because I might not
Super
be down.
biased,
I might
'cause
not
you're super
care.
biased.
I might not care.
Oh, so it's just about you. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm the one with all the equipment over here. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But getting back to like the attendance thing.
Oh yeah, back to the attendance. Sorry
about
Tony,
that. We
ahead.
go off on tangents.
No, it's all good. They got to find a better like happy medium with like ticket prices because like even now you go on the secondary sites and like Boston College, the cheapest ticket is like $35-$40. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, do we not want to like pack the place? And I make the tickets cheaper, and I figure you make money on the back end with concessions, especially again if you pack it full of kids. Like I said, like, dude, you can't take a kid to any sporting event and not buy them a ton of stuff. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They want a pretzel, they want pizza, they want a
Foam
soda.
fingers.
Yeah, you're spending $40-$50 right there on one kid. Like, are you really gonna just penny pinch on ticket prices and not get more people in there and then just have a lame atmosphere? Like, dude, when that place it doesn't have at least 22,000, it's just so cavernous and empty and quiet. Like, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, the thing is when it could be. They could have a crowd in there that could blow the top off, or you could literally hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
You know, and with the same crowd. It's frustrating.
I'll text you guys the video too of those like 7,300 kids, and like, dude, it was crazy. You're just like, just having people that are energetic and into it makes such a difference, and it just rises the level of all the other fans too.
Well, yeah, and of course that's probably the first time some of those kids have been to a sporting event like that, or maybe they don't go often enough, and it's exciting. You're supposed to be at school, and instead you're at a basketball game.
No,
So
my wife's 12-year-old sister was there, and she's texting me the whole time, and she's like, "I'm at the SU game. This is cool. Number 2, blah blah blah." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, she's the point guard." And she's like, "Oh, what's a point guard?" I'm like, "Oh Jesus Christ!" I'm like, "It's the
here we
short
go.
one ball up the court." I'm like, "I failed you."
She's probably used to it.
Yeah, that was a good one. Damn.
Hey, I gotta take him.
He's quick with it.
I gotta take him when I can get him.
Hey, I love it. Good shit. Or good stuff.
We could swear now. I got tired of editing. The thing was, 6 years ago, my son and his friends were 9 and 10. So that was kind of the deal. And they're older now, and 15, 16 years old. So it's a little different.
Yeah, they're gonna hear it.
Because they listen. I know they're gonna hear it, but I don't want it to come from me.
Dude, kids these days
when they're 9.
Second base is like backdoor stuff to them now.
Oh, stop. Okay. All right, Tony, it's been great. We love you. Okay? We love you. Be careful. Stay safe on the roads. All right? Next time someone gives you a little "Let's Go Buffalo," give them some love back, will you?
No, do not. Remind them that there's a Buffalo curse. That's what you need to do.
Dude, the whole reason I have a kid now is because I stopped doing backdoor stuff.
Oh my gosh. All right. There we are. All right, Tony, I love you. You super fan. Tony is, by the way, the captain of the green room, and we love him. but he's sometimes he overstays his welcome, and this is one of those times.
I'm so tired. I gotta wake up at 4 to go back out to Buffalo. I'm gonna play my favorite game, porn and melatonin.
Oh gosh, there he is. Okay, all right. Oh, he was asking for it at the end there. He I don't think he thought I was gonna do it. So, all right. Where are we? Where are we with this Christmas music? I played the Christmas music under Tony the whole time too during that monstrosity. So, look, that's
He's right, though.
That's yes, I know, I get it. There's all kinds of ways to do it. There absolutely is, and it's just a weird time to play. Why are the ladies playing at 10 o'clock in the morning? Ask yourself that first. Okay, I'm curious.
Don't know.
Okay, it's not tournament time.
I'm guessing it's the scheduling.
Could do a whole lot better for those ladies too, if you really wanted to think about it, and if they really cared, they would change things for them too. So, anyways, all right, that this time really is going to do it for us.
Yes,
we appreciate all of you for joining us. We will see you next time here on the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Whenever Joe can get here, because he's got check his schedule. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.